So like 12 years old is certainly old enough to like, you've got friends and boys and sports and all that shit in like a city setting is gonna, it's, you know, it's, I think it's much more like sink or swim, you know, like a cutthroat little world for like a girl to grow up in.
Yeah.
And that was like, did you like that? Were you like, do you look back on that like you enjoyed your time there or?
Yeah, I mean,
like when you said you had a weird like,
I had a different childhood. Okay, so I have 3 sisters, but they're half sisters from my dad's first marriage. 2 of them are like super bad drug addicts and they were in super horrible abusive relationships. So I saw a lot of fucked up shit growing up.
Okay.
And also my parents were working 2 jobs each. So I'm basically an only child at home all the time by myself. Like they couldn't afford childcare, so I, after school, would walk home. I was 2 blocks away from my school, so I'd walk home, lock the door, be at home until 8 o'clock at night by myself. So I had a lot of time to just, you know, be by myself. It was scary. I kind of like raised myself in a way. Had great loving parents, but like they were working, and then I have these fucked up siblings, right, who I see like this crazy shit, and then I have like my drug addict uncle sleeping in my basement that I see ODing when I'm like 8. So there's just a lot of crazy shit I saw growing up where I think I matured really fast. And like everyone that I meet now, they're like, oh, I thought you were like 28. Like you just act like you're 28. I'm like, no, man, I'm really just a kid still. Yeah. So that's crazy. I think that also just like made me into who I am because it was just a different upbringing. And then I moved to the suburbs. No one's like me. I'm like, oh my God. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. Like when I was a city kid, me and my friends after school, we would get our scooters. I don't know how old was I? I was like 11. We'd ride our scooters and pick up cigarette butts that we found off the ground and just pretend to smoke. I'm like, that was our fun. And then we'd walk up to the park where like everyone's drinking beers, and it was just a bizarre little way to grow up and then get removed from and then go to the suburbs.
The cushiest spot,
And then I'm in like this beautiful neighborhood with all these kids playing manhunt and like it was just so different. Like half the shit I had already seen, they didn't get until we were in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what, like you're able to see that as like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, but clearly didn't fall into any of that.
Yeah, no.
Is that your parents got you out in time, or do you think the way you protected yourself from that or stayed away from it?
I think it was just one of those things where it's like you see what you don't want to be, so you know you'll never be like that. Also, my mom got a double knee replacement. She will only take ibuprofen. She's like so against anything. And then, which is crazy because my brand is like partying and drinking. So a lot of people are like, well, you shouldn't be doing that. But partying isn't going anywhere. And my whole message is like, you can get drunk, smoke weed, have fun. Like you don't need to do all this crazy shit. I talk about drugs all the time and how, I mean, I do shrooms. That's not that crazy. But I feel like I'm like a good party influence to look up to because I'm not out here just like slanging coke and doing like all the crazy shit that a lot of people on social media.
You didn't invent this shit, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the first, not the last.
Yeah.
And you might as well be. I also think there's like Bert Kreischer is a very famous comedian who like drinks a ton and is also like one of the most successful and smartest businessmen in the game.
Yes.
If you can, you know, the point is to be able to like balance it and do it. Like when I used to do the Mail Time podcast, I was all about being like miserable at work and like, you know, mailing it in and not get, but people would email me or call, you know, DM me, whatever, being like, dude, I got fired today because I didn't do my work. Like fucking Mail Time. Like no, that's not the point here.
Yeah.
The point is like to still get your shit done, but have a fun time and like work the system. And so this is like,
Same thing.
I don't want you to drink yourself to death, you morons.
Play hard. Yeah. If you work hard, then you can play hard, but there needs to be a balance. And then like this whole college dropout thing, people are like, oh, you just inspired me to drop out. It's like, no, I'm trying to inspire people to just like do what makes them happy.
Succeed,
succeed. In my case, it was dropping out and finding my path, but that's not yours. Like I'm just saying like, okay, if you want to change your major, do it. Or you want to go after this new career, do it. Break up with your boyfriend, do it. But not everyone dropped out of college.
No, right. I mean, you got very lucky in certain regards. You put yourself in the right spot.
Yeah.
And college wasn't the right path for you. A lot of people should be the path.
Exactly.
If you have another alternative, go do it. But you know, I know that's a tough spot where you do like, it's like the role model thing where it's like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to be like your life coach.
Yeah.
But you do also acknowledge that like certain people, especially you, like young girls, are gonna look up to you and you don't want to like misguide them. But at the same time, it's not your responsibility.
I know.
Like, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up to like make funny shit, make people laugh, entertain them, right? Like that was the goal from the jump.
And then it falls under like this umbrella where it's like that. And like I'm very aware of like what people like. I know the negative side of it where people are like, oh, that you're like a horrible influence. You're just like being drunk and like telling these girls to do this. But they also don't like see, like they see my TikTok. They don't see my podcast. They don't see all the other shit I'm saying. It's like, I know, you may not think I know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. Like I'm a business.
Absolutely. I mean, you are a one-woman like industry right now.
Yeah, and you have to cater to the audience.
I guess it sucks where it's like, you can't expect everybody to sit down, listen to an hour of the podcast, then watch the TikToks, then watch the BFFs, But, you know, you aren't one video. You aren't like one thing. Yeah. But people will judge you on that. And that's where I think you got to just like kind of block it out.
I know.
You know?
That's where, like, because it's so new to me, where that frustrates me a lot. I'm trying not to like scream at everyone, but like, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, but I have to realize not everyone's gonna understand.
No, and that's where you gotta just like stay the course. If you're trying to please everybody and explain yourself at all times, like you're gonna go fucking
crumble.
crazy.